March 16, 2013. Happy birthday, Mom. As we begin this adventure, we wanted to express our gratitude and appreciation for all that you've done for us. Particularly, Mom, that decision that you made so many years ago to let the missionaries into the house and to begin studying with them. It took a long time, but that decision has not only changed all of our lives, but has changed the lives of generations to come. We appreciate the challenges and the courage that it took to make that decision and all the decisions that followed. We're hoping that this adventure that we're going to go on now will bring back some good memories and will be a testament to how much we appreciate all that you've done for us. Again, happy birthday. Our adventure begins with your autobiography. As I was reviewing it a few weeks ago, I came across this paragraph that I found intriguing. It goes something like this. I had been meeting with the elders for 2 years. Each set of elders would pass my name on to the next. On the 19th of April, 1958, I became a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. My neighbor, Pat Kelsey, came to my baptism. She was a Catholic and had to go to confession because she came to my baptism. I was baptized by Arnold Jenson of Talmadge, Utah. I am grateful for his patience and his understanding. I read that paragraph and I wondered, could we find Arnold Jenson? And what would he have to say? We're on our way now to the home of Arnold Jenson, who brought Mom into the church. It's quite an adventure here, as you can see. Going down a dirt road into somewhere near Talmadge, Utah. More rustic territory than what we're used to, that's for sure. Dirt road's crazy. Could wash out any moment.
We turn here.
Oh, we do? Yeah, cool. We turn right here?
Oh my gosh.
This is even worse. I'm not sure. Guess we'll continue to try it. We made it to the house, were warmly greeted, took our seats, and before I knew it, Sister Jenson was pulling out some pictures that I certainly had seen before.
They said
Yes.
they wondered if that was. Yep,
Oh my gosh, that's them. Look at that.
I thought it was them, but I lost that picture and I didn't have it for some time.
Oh, that is amazing.
So
Okay. And my dad Mom went to Bucknell, Dad went to Princeton. They're both from Philadelphia. And when they graduated, they moved over to New Jersey and started his career, and one thing led to another. And they found a job in California, moved out to California, and when would that have been? Probably 56 or so. And
Well, that's when I arrived in California.
I was going to say, so you must have been kind of nervous to go from this little town to California. So, had you ever been out of the state?
I'd never been further than Salt Lake. I'd been to Salt Lake.
Oh,
But it was quite a change.
Yes, I can't even
Goodness.
imagine in Southern California, no less. So.
That first day we went on a train to get there. There was 4 of us missionaries went at the same time. When we got off that train, and then the elder picked us up and took us to the mission home, and that traffic, why, I wondered where I'd hit.
That is so funny. It was probably as strange to you as him. He went to Bangkok, Thailand, and he sort of felt the same way when he got off that airplane. What am I doing here?
I mean, that was something.
Yeah, that's quite a change.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But it was easier to go than really when it come time to come home.
Yes.
That was hard to leave, the mission people.
Yeah.
So true.
So then you must have been an actual missionary. We weren't even sure But we didn't know if you were, like a 20-year-old missionary or if you were a ward missionary, but we sort of figured you must have been a missionary.
I didn't go when I was probably about 21.
A little older, yeah.
A little older.
Yeah.
This was country things. In the ward I was in, there hadn't been a missionary go out for about 11 years.
Is that right? So you were
Wow.
an odd
Is that right?
thing.
Yeah, I was an odd one.
Unusual, yes.
Well, that's great. That's great.
So you left. Okay, so you left in '56, and from here you took a train to L.A.
We missionaries rode trains and boats back then.
So where do you remember where the other 3 missionaries came from?
Elder White, who was with me when we baptized Nancy, was from Goshen out here.
Okay.
The others, the other missionary,
Somewhere in Utah, I imagine.
well, we had them from England and
Really?
different countries in the mission at that time. So.
All right.
Is that the Elder White that come here a couple of years ago?
No. My first companion was an Elder White from Goshen, Utah. My second companion, or my last companion, was an Elder White from Goshen, Utah, but they were no regular.
Oh, that is funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's something. That is something. So how when you got to California, how big was the mission?
It took in all of from Santa Barbara, everything south in California, plus the state of Arizona, plus Nevada.
How did you ever find Nancy
Whoa,
Montgomery?
that is
Yeah,
That's
just...
a big, huge place.
Well,
Where did you mostly serve then?
I served in the San Bernardino Valley most of the time. I served, well, I started out in Pomona and went to West Covina, North Hollywood,
Okay.
Glendale, Gordon City, and then I went down to San Diego, La Mesa for a while, and then back to...
So it was a 2.5 year mission.
Just two.
Just
Two.
2.
Well, I grew up in Anaheim. You probably know Southern California better than me.
Probably.
I knew quite a bit of it then.
It's changed probably a lot since then, too.
You know, right there where we worked there in Woodland Hills when we was teaching Nancy, here a few years back they had an earthquake there,
Yes, Northridge.
Northridge.
Right.
And we worked that area there. And they showed the picture of that freeway that collapsed. And when I was there, it
Of
was,
course, no freeway.
yeah, not orchards.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
orchards everywhere. Yes.
Everywhere then, yeah.
Yeah, our house was on an orange orchard.
Yeah.
So yes, probably when you, I guess you were just out tracting.
I didn't originally meet your mother.
Okay.
The missionaries were teaching her when I was transferred there. And yes, they tracted her out. And they taught her for a while before I was transferred.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that's really where my memories start. Was they built that house on 6200 Melba Avenue, just that little cul-de-sac, and there was nothing around.
Yeah.
So did you ride bikes?
We
Were you
rode
on a
back
bike?
in that area. We was on bikes, yes.
Yeah.
Part of the time when I was on the mission, I was with an elder that had a car, and the first area in Pomona we was right in town, so I just walked. We just walked.
Now, see, my mom was probably living in. Do you think she would have been?
She was in
Oh,
Compton.
she was in Compton.
Compton. Yeah, she was in Compton.
Her mom later lived in Pomona, but
Pomona.
yeah, she wasn't in Pomona at that point.
Yeah, when I first went out, we lived there in Pomona, and then I'd only been out a while, and they were sending missionaries to Australia, and at that time they went by boat.
Yes.
And their boat wasn't leaving for a while, so I got a companion for 6 weeks there that was going to Australia. I was new, and he was green.
Yeah.
We had, you know,
Yes.
It was interesting.
The blind leading the blind.
You're about
Oh,
what it
Yes, yes.
was. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Wow.
funny.
So, wow. So they had been teaching my mom for a while.
They have been
Uh-huh.
for a while. Elder White and I can't remember the missionary that was with her.
Uh-huh.
And then I came and we taught her till I was about ready to come home.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It was about the week before I came home that we finally got her to be baptized.
Well.
Maybe that was it, huh? I'm leaving, Nancy.
Yeah.
Now or never.
Yeah.
I remember she came out to Salt Lake once.
Uh-huh.
I met her.
Oh, you did?
She came up to General Conference.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
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 Well, how nice.
That was before or after we were.
I think it was before we was
married.
Uh-huh. Huh.
Oh,
Well, that's something.
how
So,
interesting.
yeah, so you didn't get my dad, though. No, I just couldn't,
We just couldn't get him. I met him a time or two,
Yeah.
you know. Thought he was a great guy.
yes, yes.
But how long did it take him?
What's
He's
that?
Not a member.
No, never joined.
He
They're
never did
actually,
join,
They're
is that
actually
right?
divorced.
No, they divorced in 69.
69.
Yeah.
Is that right?
And we were living outside of Philadelphia.
Well,
You know, when you
Yeah.
join the church, it sort of changes your
Your
lifestyle
yes.
drastically.
Yes, yes.
I'm trying to think, was Nancy still smoking when you were teaching her? Because she was
I don't
a
know that she
smoker.
ever smoked.
Maybe she quit. No, she smoked when she had you, and then she said she quit after that.
She may have quit right after that, but they were, your
Yep.
Yeah.
typical 50s suburbia,
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
No,
especially
she
in
wasn't
LA.
smoking. She still
Drank.
couldn't
Yeah.
see why she had to give up her cocktails.
Yes, yeah, that was
Yes,
a big
and
deal.
they drank a lot of cocktails.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So,
Huh.
Yeah. Well, lucky then she'd already given up the cigarettes, so that's good.
yeah.
Made it a little easier.
Yeah. And so, were there any particular that you can remember? Any lessons that she particularly honed in on, or is there anything that you
Every
can
time we
remember?
went there, she had questions.
Uh-huh.
She'd read, and then when we went back, she would have questions.
Yes.
Just one little. I don't know if she was giving us a bad time,
Uh-huh.
but we had state conference, and we, told her that the state conference would be on this certain day, and give her the address. She said, told later. She said, I didn't know how to dress for sure. Whether I should dress to go to a steakhouse.
Steakhouse, of course. Go to a steakhouse. Medium well, please.
But probably as Dawn and I and Elder White, we probably hadn't explained like we should have done.
Well, that's true. We do forget our lingo, don't we?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
But yes, that one. But yes, she was, she had lots of questions. And
Uh-huh.
so she would read, and the next time we'd go back, we would discuss it there.
Uh-huh.
I think she believed a lot of things before she admitted it to us, but
Yes.
yes.
Huh.
Probably.
And we probably give her a couple of lessons on word of wisdom.
Yes, yes. Now some of my first memories are, it wasn't a normal meeting house where you went to. It wasn't like a normal chapel. Wasn't it a big old mansion of some sort?
It was a different looking chapel, but it was actually a chapel.
It was, okay.
I don't think there was a recreational hall in it.
Probably not.
Just a small chapel then. Uh-huh.
Yeah, when they lived in California there, and I didn't know they'd moved for a while, and then
Uh-huh.
I knew other people there that I kept in touch with
Yes.
for a while, but not anymore. They passed away or
Yeah.
different things.
Who were some of those people? Let's see, who was the bishop? Was it
Floyd West.
Floyd Weston, yes. She always talks about Floyd Weston. Yes.
Very interesting. He was an ex FBI agent
Uh-huh.
and so forth, and he joined the church years earlier.
Yes.
And he was a bishop at that time.
Huh.
Wow.
the Turners was the ones that I really, they come up and they got acquainted with my sister, and so they come up and they kept us kind of informed.
Uh-huh.
But then, didn't hear anything about your mother then until, several years later. Then.
Uh-huh.
And we had a missionary, a neighbor right over here, that went on a mission back east there.
Uh-huh.
And when he came off, he asked me if I knew a Nancy Montgomery.
Is that right?
I said, I sure did. And he said, well, that's where the missionaries met all the time.
Uh-huh.
It was there. She was always feeding them and that. You know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we had missionaries over all the time. We first moved to Wisconsin in '63, and then moved to Philadelphia in '66, and had a big old house. And then my folks got divorced, and we were in another house. We had the missionaries over all the time.
That's what he said.
And then Mom started teaching seminary.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, she was. She
She's
taught
been
seminary
a seminary teacher for many years.
I don't know. I mean, decades.
Yeah.
You know, early morning, 6 o'clock seminary.
Oh, my goodness.
And we would all pile into that car, that old station wagon at about 5:30, 5:45, and do the rounds around the neighborhood and fill up that car.
Take the seminary.
I remember in the wintertime, Mom would, put a piece of cardboard in front of the radiator so the car would warm up faster. You
Yeah.
know? Whoa.
It wasn't a brown Chib, was it?
What's that?
It wasn't a brown Chib station
It
wagon.
was blue.
Blue.
Blue Chevy.
That's it. My mother had
Uh-huh.
a brown station wagon. She'd gather up the kids to take primary.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, same thing.
Same
Same
thing,
thing.
yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Then I didn't hear, from her several years after this missionary came back. And then
Uh-huh.
one day she called and talked to me for a minute. She brought one of her sons, maybe you, to the mission home out in Provo here.
Might have been Jim. Who
It could
knows?
have
She just
been.
has the two boys,
Yeah.
so one or the other.
Well, let's see. I left. I went on
In
my mission in
74-ish,
73. June. In fact, we're just putting together a little reunion of my group. We had a group of 12 that went to Thailand,
Thailand.
and in June of '73,
Three.
and then Jim went. Would have been
5 years later.
6 years later. Yeah, 6 years later in '79.
Yeah.
Anyway, she brought one of you to the Salt Lake there.
Uh huh.
I talked to her, but she was on her way back right then.
Uh huh. Yes.
And
Oh, that would have been Jim,
that would have
because I went to Salt Lake by myself.
Yeah.
That's right.
She pretty much, she put me on a plane and
been
said,
go.
good luck. Don't forget to go to the temple first.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah.
That's kind of the way it worked.
That's exactly right.
And the
That's right.
funniest story still is that, she didn't really know what to expect from missionaries, and Jay tells the story that they went in and got him a suit, but it was...
Well, we went to J.C. Penney's, and we were going to get a suit. And we said, well, I'm going to go to Thailand. I'm going to be a missionary in Thailand. And the salesman said, okay, well, you're going to need something light. And so I had this very light seersucker suit.
Almost like a seersucker suit. Shows up at the MTC.
I looked great.
Yeah.
I looked fantastic.
Fantastic, you're right.
And then we said we had to have white short sleeve shirts, light. And so all the short sleeve shirts were very light patterned. And so I don't think they looked very nice. And so I show up at the mission home. Here I am. Where are you from?
Where are you going?
Yes, yes.
But it all got worked out. I
It did.
guess.
It did because
They still took him.
Yeah, they took it.
because we never wore a suit. Well, once we got to Thailand.
Thailand, you
Never saw your suit again.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, and then Jim served in Tallahassee, and he was just called as a bishop in Atlanta. And, my youngest sister's husband was just released as a bishop in Atlanta, Peachtree City, and so Mom lives down there close to my sister.
And he has another sister in Florida, and
Florida.
one in Texas that's getting ready to go on a mission to
Yes.
Russia,
Oh.
Moscow.
Yes. Yeah, her husband served as a bishop, and
Of the deaf.
of the deaf, of a deaf branch.
Deaf
ward,
branch.
Deaf
Yes.
branch.
I can't imagine how challenging
Yeah,
that is.
that would be.
Yeah, because he didn't know sign language, so.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
But they're off to Moscow when? In
May 25th. Right.
So yeah.
So.
Yeah, we had a son that served down in Atlanta,
Oh really?
Oh, really?
Our oldest.
our oldest son.
There's one in New York. So
Wow.
New York.
Okay, so how many kids do you have?
7.
Wow.
And you had a son who left here and served a mission in New York.
Right.
Wow. New York City?
Was he
No.
upstate New York or?
He was right in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Really? Wow. I
Well-
must have loved that. So
He did.
different.
Well,
He did really like it. But
Yeah.
he did get to go out on Bermuda for about 6 months,
Wow.
on the island of Bermuda,
Wow.
which he said they'd get to teaching people and they're just there on vacation.
Yeah. Victor was on vacation. Bermuda, for heaven's sakes.
It was expensive though.
Oh, yeah.
I
Bermuda's very
bet.
expensive.
Well, how interesting.
Yeah.
And we had a son go to Tennessee and one to South Africa
Uh-huh.
Wow.
And Holland,
and
Belgium.
Holland and Belgium. Yeah.
How many
Oh,
boys
wow.
did you have?
We had 6 boys.
6 boys and 1 girl.
Uh-huh.
Lady's the girl.
Oh my goodness.
wow.
That's a lot of boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we spaced them out some.
Uh-huh. Yes. Yeah.
My daughter had 3 boys and she finally had to adopt a baby from Korea to get a girl.
Yes.
That's amazing. Well,
So,
that's
what
great.
kind of work did you do?
Here,
Do you do? Uh-huh.
I'm a farmer.
I
Oh,
said
yeah,
he
uh-huh.
has to be a farmer, I
Cattle
think.
rancher. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's
Cattle.
great. Cattle.
Okay.
Uh-huh. How many head is that?
Well, right now we're kind of cutting back her down to about 40 head of
Uh-huh.
stock cows.
Okay.
Yeah.
This year's not been the best for
We had a
Raising
dry
cattle.
year, but
Uh-huh.
we're hoping one of our sons maybe gonna get the farm here.
Uh-huh.
I was going to say, so how many of your kids still live
Yeah, nearby.
right here?
Uh,
one in Vernal and
one Vernal,
Roosevelt.
2 in Roosevelt here,
Okay.
and
Magna and West
the
Jordan.
West Jordan, and one
Richfield.
is down in Richfield,
Uh-huh.
in Utah.
All right. Well, that reminded me that how old was your mom when she went back and got her degree at BYU?
Oh,
She hadn't
goodness.
finished when she, when she was at, where'd she go? Cornell? Where'd she go?
Bucknell.
Bucknell. She
Bucknell.
hadn't finished. So
She
when
had,
he was on his mission, she moved to Orem.
Orem.
Farm. Is that right?
Yes.
And she didn't let me know.
Yeah.
I guess not. I guess, Mom, I think you better do some repenting on that.
It
Gets
gets better
better.
because she finished her degree, a teaching degree in math at BYU, and then she moved to Vernal and
Oh,
taught
wow.
at the
And
high
she
school
taught at the high
in
school.
Vernal.
Oh my God!
Now she is in class.
I know, so she was really close.
Yes,
And how long was she in Vernal? 2 years?
I
3
think
years?
2 or 3
she
years. Uh-huh.
was. Is that right?
At
Yeah.
the high school there.
We're
So
not very far, 30 miles.
Have
I
you
know.
been to Vernal when she was there?
You know, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she took us on one of the best trips. So we did the rafting down the Green River.
Oh.
So we went camped overnight, then did some rafting down there with 2 of my youngest
I
daughters.
didn't go.
Oh, yeah.
No. No,
like it
camping.
Too far out.
Camping was sort of foreign for this family.
Yeah.
Here.
Did she teach at the junior high or the high school?
I think she taught at the junior high, maybe.
At the junior high. Maybe.
Yeah.
And then she moved to California by us.
By
we had
us.
settled in Walnut Creek, California, and she got a job at the high. Was it the junior high again? In
Junior high.
Livermore.
No, it was out in Union City. That's where Ann lived.
Somewhere out there, but anyway,
in
she
Fremont.
taught there.
Hayward,
for,
no, in Hayward.
Hayward, and she taught there for another
10 years.
Is that right?
10
Yeah,
years.
I think she
And
taught about
she-
10 years there.
And
I mean,
she
she got to a
still-
point where she was teaching a class with 27 different languages.
Oh my goodness.
I can believe she
And
did
Yeah.
that.
teaching in California was getting, more and more difficult.
Difficult. Yep.
Yes.
California is just difficult.
So then her daughter's husband was in the military, but he finally must have retired from the military.
Yeah, he left the
and-
military. He was a pilot.
and they moved to Atlanta.
Moved to Atlanta,
And so
and,
then she moved to Peachtree City to live by them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I don't think she taught, but she still works at Cumin
She tutors
teaching math.
and teaches,
He's,
At 83,
She's gonna
what did
ask
we
how old
decide
she
how
is.
old she was? Today is her birthday.
yeah, today's her birthday.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Mom.
yeah,
And
And,
she still tutors and teaches.
That's
so
right.
Pretty good.
pretty
Yeah.
good.
so she's 84 today.
84.
Yeah, born
and
in
she
1929.
loves family history. I think
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
been doing family history for
Genealogy, she has
The
just done
last
thousands of names.
20, 30 years. She's gone to England
Yeah.
looking for relatives, and
Yeah, this is,
she's had a great time with family history.
this is, those are my brothers. It's my brother and sisters.
And sisters.
And, the five of us. So there's the
Twins.
Yeah.
There's the two twins right there. Whoops. The two twins right there and there. And then my youngest. And my brother.
And that's you.
Yeah, uh-huh. And that's
Several
all the
years ago.
that's all the grandchildren. That's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually probably 14 years ago. We had a reunion down in Atlanta, and there's Mom.
Yes.
And all the kids, it was just fabulous.
Fabulous.
There she is.
There she is.
There she is, yep.
She still looks good there.
Well, this is a few years ago. this is in Orem, so yeah, it would have been a while ago. But there's my brother and Mom back in about the same time, probably about late 70s.
There
And she is with my youngest. And that's fairly recent. This was like 2000 and when we did that cruise, 2008. We all went on a cruise together. Had a wonderful time with that. And picture with my youngest sister and her family, and then 3 of my 4 daughters.
How many children?
We have 5.
5.
We have 4 daugers and a son, and just one. And this is all at the Oakland Temple. That's my number 3 daughter getting married. Where's Mom? Is that her there? Yeah, there she is, right there. Yep, right there. And yeah. And there's my oldest daughter. So that would have been back in 2001. So that's like 12 years ago. And there's Mom and my brother. All the temple. And there she is with my number 2 daughter. Yeah. And marriage at the temple. All the same. And there we are in Hawaii. She was with us in Hawaii in 1 year, and having a fun time. So anyway,
Yeah, that's neat.
so it's
Those are nice.
it's amazing what you look at the havoc that you've wrought.
Yeah.
I mean, goodness gracious! I mean, the
How many children and grandchildren have she got now?
So 5 children.
5 children.
And how many grandchildren does she have?
Well, let's see. We're 5. My one sister's 6, so that's 11, and then
Amy's 5.
and then 5, so that's
And
16.
Lynn is
Lynn is 6, so that's 22. Is that it?
And you got Jim's?
I didn't get
That might
Jim's.
be it.
So
And then
so 26.
4 more.
26.
Yeah, so 26.
And there's already greats.
Yeah,
great.
there's
3, 4 of them.
there's
5,
6
6 of
greats.
them.
6
Six
great
greats.
Oh, there's
grandchildren.
way more than that because Anne's kids have
Oh yes, yeah.
babies
This
too.
is
There's
a
probably
whole
10
lot.
or 11 or 12 great.
great
Yes. yeah.
She's got more grandkids than we then.
Is that right?
We got 24.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
pretty
That's
close.
great.
Yes.
We
But,
must have some greats, huh? Or not yet?
Kinda.
Yes.
Our one son married a gal and
That has
Had a-
Uh huh.
kids,
her
huh?
daughter's got a couple.
Uh-huh.
Well,
We don't
good.
see much of them.
Yeah.
Well, I have to.
Later divorced,
Yeah.
Uh huh.
so.
Well, I have to ask you. I meant to look up my genealogy because we are Jensons.
Is there?
Oh, really?
So, did any of your Jensons come from Logan?
Well, could have done.
My
How did they spell the last name?
same way.
With an O?
No, with an E.
With an E.
Are you an O?
We're a no.
Oh.
Oh, that's
But
interesting.
it really, his brother spells with E.
I was gonna say, your thing on the wall is a E.
Yes.
Yeah, my girlfriend.
But you're an O.
Yeah.
All right, well then maybe not. We're from Copenhagen, Denmark.
Denmark.
That's where they're from.
No.
Denmark.
No, my granddad, great granddad came from Sweden.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Most of them from Sweden.
Well, then
Mother's
we're-
On
from-
my mother's side, which were Andersons,
See,
They
we had
came-
Andersons
they
as well.
came from Denmark. Yes.
Well, there may be a connection
Somewhere
somewhere
there.
then.
The way they did that back over there in England, that
Oh, yes.
name
it's-
thing,
Oh, it's something, isn't it?
it's something, yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's so much you could do now with genealogy and
Genealogy.
go back to those original documents. And when we were living in New York City, we lived right on the Hudson River, right next to the Statue of Liberty.
Liberty.
And so we went out to Ellis Island, and I've got a whole wonderful museum on how everybody came in and the whole process.
Amazing, really.
Yes,
amazing.
keeping of all of those records, and everything else.
Well, and you were just looking up. We're in a genealogy class, and
Yeah,
you
family
just
history
looked
class.
up. You were looking up your mom, but
Yeah.
you saw her original baptism when she was a baby.
Yes, I found her original baptism very easy. I mean, it was just like
Like
that.
that.
Yeah, which was
And her original Philadelphia baptism when she was an infant.
yeah, a little baby. So it was interesting.
And so, but
Well-
that was something. Well, you have done an amazing thing,
Yep.
and
Well,
One that we're very thankful for.
Yeah.
That you stuck with Nancy
exactly.
and got her baptized.
Yeah,
We did.
and it's just
It's a great thing.
it's just really quite amazing.
It was just before I came home that I baptized her, and then I baptized the older brother.
Uh-huh. Now Floyd Weston, wasn't he a writer? Didn't he write a book or?
I think he did.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was something. And then
He wasn't the one that wrote the book on the FBI and being a bishop.
He
Was he?
might have been.
oh,
I think
maybe he
Because
was.
my
I had
dad gave me that book to read not too long ago.
Okay, really? Oh, isn't that
I
interesting?
think
Yes.
he possibly was because
Yeah.
he was an FBI agent.
Right,
Yes.
I bet it
He
was
did. I
him.
think he did write a
Yeah,
book.
my dad said it was a pretty good book.
Book,
I never
yeah.
really
Uh-huh.
did get around to reading it,
Reading
but
it.
maybe I'll have to now.
Yeah, the last about 5 years now, we've been working in the Vernal Temple.
Oh, uh-huh.
One day.
Wonderful.
Oh,
So we go to Bruno one day a week.
I was
Uh-huh, yes.
So how long does it take to get to
30
Vernal
miles,
from here?
half an hour, huh?
About
An
an
hour.
hour and 15, 20 minutes.
Wow.
Whoa.
Well, that
It's
is
60 miles.
very
Oh,
good
60 miles,
dedication of you guys.
Yes.
That's great. That's quite a trek.
We
That's
have to
not
be there early because we're over the
Have been
baptisms.
over
that
Oh,
the
Baptist
youth
Street,
that come
yes.
before school.
Oh my goodness, you guys get up early on that day. So what day do you go out to Vernal?
Tuesdays.
Uh-huh.
We get up at
Well.
3:15.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Although you're a farmer, you probably get up early
I've been up
anyway.
earlier than that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're a farmer.
Yes.
I have great respect for farmers. It's an interesting life.
Oh, yes.
Hard working people.
Well, we were just, as it turns out, Rhonda comes from a family of 4 girls from Anaheim, and 2 of those 4 wound up in Shelley, Idaho.
I don't know.
Which is farm country, and we were just up there.
And one did marry a farmer's son.
Yes.
He became a pharmacist, but his dad is still a farmer in Sugar City,
And I was
Idaho.
in Sugar City, and I was just talking to him, and he's a cattle rancher, and he's got about 40 head,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
One time our one son was with here and we had close to 200. We had a permit on the mountain and stuff.
Wow.
wow. Boy, 200. That
That
takes
was a lot to cab out.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that, but like I say, I'm not as young as I used to be.
Yep, yep.
Well, you both look great. I mean,
My hair's gone from If you look up there on that top picture, see, I did have hair at one
Yes,
time.
you did.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did. You should videotape
Yes.
those. That might look familiar to her.
Yeah, look more like lost my hair than what I've got to turn white.
It happens to the best of us.
That's right.
That's a beautiful picture of the temple.
That
too.
really is.
We just got that for our 50th
Oh,
wedding
it's
anniversary.
gorgeous.
Oh, really?
It's just beautiful.
My
Oh.
brothers and sisters gave it to us.
Well, it is lovely.
Isn't
That is
pretty?
beautiful. Yes, it is.
And congratulations on 50 years.
50
That
years.
is pretty good.
Oh, that is
In a
something.
few years.
Yep, that's wonderful.
Oh boy, oh boy.
And we were married in the Salt Lake Temple, you know.
Uh-huh.
And fortunately enough, I had my mission president marry us.
Oh,
Really?
Henry
This
D.
is Henry D.
Taylor.
Taylor.
Oh, Henry D.
Isn't
Who
that
was assistant to the
wonderful?
12.
Right,
Isn't
right.
that
Henry D.
wonderful?
Taylor was my best friend's uncle.
Is that
Oh.
right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Your best friend's uncle.
Yeah, Steve Welling's uncle, Henry D. Taylor.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, he went out just before I went on my mission. He was called, and then he was called to assistant
Wow.
at the
From that.
spring conference
Uh-huh.
in April that year. So he was only out there about the same time I was.
Oh, not very long
Not
then.
very long as the president.
Yeah.
Huh.
But when we were going to get married, you know, we thought, well, that sure be nice, because I'd seen him a time or two after I'd got off. He came out to state conferences and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And so we called, and he wasn't in, but we just left word to the secretary. If he could make it, why, fine. If not, why.
Yep.
Yes,
Take whoever's
yes.
there.
And when we got into the ceiling room, why, that was him. So
Oh, how
Oh,
nice.
nice.
How nice.
Yeah, that's
he
great.
told us we had to stay together.
Yes.
So we listened.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So,
Congratulations on that. That's wonderful.
So you were married in what,
62.
62? Okay. Yeah, so just last year then, the 50th.
Mhm.
Wow.
That's great.
It's, and then after we were married, why we tried to go in the city for a while,
Uh-huh.
working out there.
You mean like Duchesne?
No,
Salt Lake.
Oh, the big city.
big city.
Big
We
city.
lived out there for a little while.
Uh-huh.
And then we moved back out here in about a year.
Uh-huh. It is.
We've been here since.
So how did you two meet?
I don't know. They used to have stake dances here at Christmas time and that. And just well, I'd met some other girls and I was friends with Loretta. And the stake president, he introduced us, but I think we'd already met when he
Uh-huh. You just wanted credit. didn't you?
And it took us a while to get together.
Yes.
Her and her girlfriend, I actually went with one of her girlfriends. And,
Huh.
she called me up and invited me to go to a girls' day dance. And she said, get a date for her. And I tried to phone over here, but couldn't get it, so she come with another. And then
Uh-huh.
we did more
My
dancing.
partner didn't like to dance, and his partner didn't like to
You
dance.
know
Me
those
and him
double
liked it,
dates.
so we-
Those double dates
we're
are a
not-
little
not-
risky.
That's it. That's it.
Dancing most of the night together.
Oh, isn't that
And the
fun?
rest was history, huh?
Yes.
Not for a while.
Yeah.
They used to have the June
Conference.
dances
dances.
out there at the University of Utah.
Uh-huh.
I danced in them.
I went out to it. I was actually working odd jobs here and there, and I was working for a while there in Salt Lake, and
Yeah.
I was sitting up there in the bleachers, and here she come waving to me.
And never I seen anybody from the basin or even.
Yeah, from the basin. Is that
Yeah.
basin? Okay. Yeah, it is out in
And
this
then
area.
we had
Yeah.
a date, and then I left there and went out here in Vernal and worked for 6 months or so and didn't see her too often for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
I was working in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Huh.
Finally, we got together. It took us a couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah.
It's been 50 years now. So.
Yeah, that is something.
Well.
Well,
That's
Then we
great.
moved back here and we got this place. And
Uh-huh.
It was just small and it's just got 80 acres here, which wasn't enough. I was still working
yeah.
other jobs and
Mhm.
got a chance to get some more ground up here a couple of miles. Since then, we've been kind of in the farming business.
Uh-huh. Now, was your father in the farming business? Yeah.
So was mine.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
You got history. You were,
Yeah.
huh.
Yeah, I'm from a family of 15.
Wow.
Whoa.
Well, there was I had one brother that died when he was about 7.
Uh-huh.
And then a sister that died at birth. She was a twin and died.
Uh-huh.
Well, we may not be related, but we're alike because my grandfather came from 15 and my grandma came from 13.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
families.
And all my brothers and sisters are still alive except in one.
That's amazing.
Really?
He died
That's-
here about 5 years ago.
Wow, that is quite amazing.
Oh, that's really.
And,
Huh.
I got 2 sisters older than me and then the rest of them's
Far
younger.
younger.
Huh.
Yeah.
Most of them live in the area?
Oh, I think the farthest one away is up in Soda Springs, Idaho. My sister lives up there.
Yeah.
And one brother lives up in Corinne.
Uh-huh.
If you've heard of where the railroads met,
Yeah, exactly. The Golden Spike.
there's a golden spike.
Yeah, exactly.
He just lives right over the hill from that.
Uh-huh.
The way the crow flies, it wouldn't be a mile.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where he lives.
Uh-huh. Huh.
And some in Salt Lake and some close by here. One sister in Duchesne.
Huh.
Well, it's beautiful country.
It is absolutely beautiful.
Out in the middle of nowhere.
Nice and quiet.
No, it is, yeah.
I mean, I guess you're the only ones here on the 23,500, right?
And 23,000.
23,000?
This
Yeah.
is your little lane, huh?
This is our lane.
Yeah. So that essentially is your address.
So where did your kids go to school? Because we see bus stop.
In
Signs.
Altamont.
Altamont.
Oh, okay.
Altamont's over here
Okay.
just a little ways. That's where they
Okay.
went to school.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I went to school right over here. But
Uh-huh.
the church house, there's an old school there. First 6 years, that's where I went to school.
Uh-huh. Wow.
And then went to Altamont. They made a lot of changes while I was on my mission here.
Uh-huh.
That school, they closed it down, this small school, and then busted into Altamont. The ward I grew up in, they discontinued it while I was on the mission. When they originally settled here, there was a lot of people settled here and they could make a living on a small farm, but it just
Yes.
kind of dwindled and dwindled.
Yeah.
So while I was on my mission, they dissolved what was the old Moon Lake stake and the ward that was here, the Talmadge ward in there.
Uh-huh.
And they combined the Moon Lake with the Duchesne stake, and
Okay.
so I was going to Duchesne.
Uh-huh.
And they went to a mountain home over here with the Talmadge ward, combined them.
Oh, yeah. I saw
They
Mountain
had-
Home on the map.
And they had a newer building at the time, and so
Uh-huh.
they abandoned this old church.
Yeah.
And he was in the bishopric before he was married.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's unusual, huh?
Yes, yes.
Nowadays, anyway.
Like I say, it was, it was small. These wards had got real small.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they combined Altamont, Talmadge, and Mountain Home all together into one ward?
No,
No, not Altamont.
not
Not
Altamont.
Altamont, no.
Separate.
It's
They
Talmadge.
had another ward over in the Altamont. We had Bonita
Uh-huh.
and a mountain home in Talmadge in
Yes.
one ward.
So
Yeah.
how far do you go to church now?
It's
3 miles.
about 3 miles.
Uh-huh.
4 or something.
No, that's not too far. Yeah.
The church that's out there is just one house by it.
Yeah.
Right now, like that. But it's on Highway 87.
Yes,
Oh, do we
You
just
go through there towards Altamont.
Yes.
But
Yes. Well, that's something. That's
Yeah.
wonderful country, and it's certainly different than New York City, like you
Yes.
said.
Yeah.
Different than California,
Different than
where
California.
we spent.
Yeah, we were-
lived in Northern California for 30
For
years.
30
so
years.
that's mostly
Yeah.
where we raised our kids.
Yeah. But you know, California's changed. Well, the mission,
Oh yes.
about the time that we were married, or just after that, President Taylor came out to a state conference. We got talking about, you know, we had 16 districts in our mission at that time, which, you know, one took all of Arizona, basically.
Huh. Yeah.
And it wasn't, you know, about 5 or 6 years, I was talking to him, and he said there was at least 16 missions there then, and what there is
Oh, what there's now, I
have-
don't-
They've
don't
got
even know.
missions within missions
Yes.
down there now.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly
And a
right.
lot of Spanish
And
speaking.
a lot of Spanish.
A lot
Yeah.
of Spanish speaking in Southern, for sure.
Sure, yes. There was a lot of Spanish people when I was down there.
Yeah. And of course, Northern has, what do we have? Cambodian speaking, we have
Oh yeah.
Vietnamese.
Vietnamese,
Yeah,
we have
Vietnamese
Mandarin,
and,
there's a
a
lot
lot
of
of
other
different
languages
nations.
in Northern California now
Yes.
too. So it has changed.
It has changed. Yeah. Just shortly after I came off my mission, I was called into the Elders Quorum
Uh huh.
with President Todd, it was, and he'd been to the Northern California
Oh.
mission. We
Huh.
took in all of Northern California
Yeah,
at that
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And we was in the Elders Quorum for not quite a year,
Uh huh.
and then he was called as a bishop. He'd got back a couple of years before I had, so he
Uh-huh.
was married.
Huh.
And then they released me from that, and it wasn't shortly after that they called me to the counselor to the
Yeah,
bishop.
Uh huh.
yeah.
And by the time we got married, why, then they changed bishops, and
Uh huh.
Yeah,
I'd been released from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
that made you a mighty young high priest.
Yes. well put.
Well put.
Well put.
Yeah, and like I say, after we were married, we moved out there to Salt Lake, and we got an apartment right up on Third South and
Uh-huh.
6th East,
Okay. Sure.
and it was the old Liberty State.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And the Liberty 9th Ward we was in. And
Yes.
And all these old white-haired people are
That's
really
right.
high
When I
priests,
went
so we
to-
gotta go to the party.
Uh-huh.
When I went-
You did.
When I went to church the first Sunday there, and I went into the high priest group,
Uh-huh.
that was
Yep. They thought you were in the wrong class.
Yes.
But it only took a week or two, then they called me into the young men's presidency.
Uh-huh.
Yep,
Yes.
yep,
That made sense.
that's right.
Definitely made sense.
Yeah.
But
And that's what jinxed you. That's why you got all those boys. You know?
Yeah, that's it.
And,
Well, I guess you need lots of sons for a farm. You know?
You
That's
do
what
that.
you do.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
and then our bishop out there was Ben Banks.
Ben
Banks of
Banks.
the 70s, he was in the
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Uh huh. Elder Banks. I do remember that.
70s.
Yes.
If you remember President Hinckley telling the story about the pulpit in
Yes.
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 Tabernacle.
Yeah.
Right.
It was Ben Banks who took and had that done for him.
Wow.
Really?
He
Okay.
was in the
Is it-
70s
Uh huh.
How
for
wonderful.
some time, so we.
Yeah.
He helped Arnold bless our first
Yeah,
boy,
first-
Uh-huh.
and Banks did.
He was.
He was only 4 pounds. And
Was he a carpenter? Was he a?
No, he was kind of a businessman. He had several sons, and some of them was carpenters.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
So they took that tree that President Hinckley.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That was a great story.
Story. And
Yeah. Yes.
So your first boy must have been born early.
He was born way
he was about 6 weeks early.
Whoa. Boy, back then that was.
I was gonna say you're lucky you survived. My mom had 2 babies born 2 months early, and they were boys, and they did not
Didn't
survive.
survive.
Yeah, they were like 2 pounds, but
They just give us wasn't too much of a chance, and then
No.
Bishop Banks and I, we went in and we actually named and blessed him in the incubator.
Uh-huh.
Which was good because I was in the Holy Cross Hospital.
Uh-huh.
The Catholics baptized him before.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Well,
He's
there
covered.
you
He's
go.
covered now.
I got up to the hospital this year and she was about half that she'd been baptized.
That's my baby.
I said, that didn't count one bit.
Well, either way, he was covered, wasn't
Oh,
he?
yes.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Huh.
You didn't have any of your others early?
No, he was the only one.
Wow.
They said
Amazing.
they'd all be that way, so
I know.
I had the next two out to Salt Lake.
She
Yeah.
went from
Yeah.
there out.
Yeah.
So,
That's-
because they said that, I'd probably have them all that way.
Yeah, that's great
Then
that you
were
did
fine,
it.
So then I had the rest down in
Yeah,
Roosevelt.
that's great. Because my last three were early, and
Yeah.
there was a pattern.
Yes,
so
just
you
a-
were lucky.
Yeah.
It's a pattern for sure.
Yeah.
In fact, the baby, they took cesarean.
Oh, yeah. Our daughter.
The last?
I was too old.
The last one?
Yeah, the girl, they took cesarean.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
Is that something?
Well, it sounds like it's been a great life.
Well,
Been
but,
a nice one, and they've kept us busy, with a small ward we had here at first. It's grown now.
yes.
Otherwise, oftentimes I'd have 2 or 3
Calling at
Yes.
the same time
Well, I
and the
had-
farm to run.
Oh,
and-
yeah.
I had that before I went on my mission. I was actually the young men's secretary for the stake and the ward young men's president when I was called on my mission.
Well, you've been
Wow.
serving for a lot of years
That's
then,
right.
huh? A lot of years.
And I've had a lot of callings, some of them short, some of them long.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's sort of the way it goes. You just, that's sort of the way it was back
that's
east. You had a
wonderful.
lot to do.
But then
Yeah.
this oil business came here in the 70s and people got jobs and started building up and things.
Now, I see a lot of what looks to me like their natural gas.
They've got a lot of natural gas,
Yes.
oil wells here.
Yeah, yeah.
We had one right here.
Uh huh.
Where that's smoothed out there.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Oil tanks.
Uh huh. Uh
They
huh.
had an oil well there for several years. We didn't have no mineral rights. So,
Oh, yeah. Oh.
So we didn't get rich.
No.
Darn.
but, then it started building back, and it was 85 when they separated the stakes again and left the
Uh-huh.
Duchesne stake down there, and we got the Altamont stake here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's something.
Seen a lot of change over
Yeah.
those
And then I was
70 years, huh?
called into on the High Council when they made the Altamont stake. And
Uh huh.
spent 9 years there. That was the longest calling we
That's
had.
a
Oh my
long
word! So
time,
either
yeah.
you either saw 2 stake presidents maybe, or
Or the
or
same
the
one.
same one for a long time.
We had the same
Same
one
one.
till just, I went in with the first stake president, and he'd been released just a short time.
Uh-huh.
And they called another stake president when I
Wow.
was released.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
long
They
time.
actually released me to call me as a stake mission president.
Oh, uh-huh.
boy. Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Come full circle, huh?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, do you have any message for Mom? Look right into that camera.
Well, one thing I can say, I taught a lot of people. We baptized a lot when I was on there, but I didn't have any more fun with anybody than we did with Nancy. We were teaching her. And I just hope for the best for her. I know she's done well. I can see that now with the number of children that's on the missions and that,
Yeah.
When she lived in Vernal, if she...
Sorry, Mom. Sorry.
We'd at least took her to dinner.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. That's
She was
right.
probably gone there before the temple was
Yes, it was before the temple. Right.
So,
Right. Well,
Well, we sure appreciate
we sure appreciate
you serving
it.
a mission. and
Yeah, we got a little gift for you here. A little
Yeah.
card. There we go. It's
Thank
a
you.
great book by Terrell Gibbons. And, we sure appreciate it. I mean, you're part of our family history, you know,
yeah.
and, which is really, really exciting.
When we get on the other side, she better look me up there.
Oh,
I will see her before.
We will tell her.
Absolutely. Let me get a picture of you two right there. Arnold Jenson's farm, 40 head of cattle. Is beautiful country here. Out here in what they call this valley. Talmadge, Utah.